Yes, my name is Abdulnabi Alshoala. I was born in Bahrain in 15th of May 1948. I spent my childhood in Bahrain. I grew up in Bahrain. I had my schooling in Bahrain. And after I finished my secondary schools, as they were called those days, I worked for 3 years to save some money to go and study abroad for college education. And then I decided, and I was ready to go to London, to the UK for my college education, but somehow I ended up in India, in Mumbai, in 1969, in October 1969, and I stayed there for 4 years till I finished and completed my college education and back to Bahrain in 1973. India, the time I spent in India is full of wonderful memories and discoveries and learning more. To me, India was itself a university of life, where I think the most important thing I learned is coexistence, tolerance, and living together and respecting each other. I have seen all kind of faiths, religions, creeds, etc., living together side by side and building a nation that we now see today as a great country. A lot of memories during my school days, during the time I have sent the activities. I had the education, the students' unions, the students' association I was associated with. All of it brings together and great memories. Yeah, when I came back after many years of my return, I've always taken interest in India. I wrote about India regularly in the press, and I was always hoping to pay something back to India for what I have earned in India, for what I have learned in India, for what I have acquired in India. I feel I was, and still I do, indebted to that country, and I want to pay a little more through the involvement in all activities that help and contribute to creating closer relationship with India in all aspects: business, cultural, educational, etc. So in this process, I have gathered, I've called the number of leading individuals in the community of both Indian and Bahrainis in different walks of life, in business, in culture, in journalism, and we formed the Bahrain-India Society with the aim and objectives of promoting and strengthening and contributing to strengthening the relations between Bahrain and India. Bahrain and India's relationship continues to grow day by day. I think I was happy to see the extent of the growth of business relationship between the two countries. The export and import between the two countries have many folds, have increased to many folds. The cultural relation, the greater understanding between the two countries, the diplomatic relationship that has been established. India was one of the first countries that have established relationship with Bahrain, diplomatic relationship with Bahrain, immediately since its independence. And since then, bilateral relationship grew, and the exchange of visits is a demonstration of the extent of this relationship. The heads of states of both the countries have exchanged the relationship. The ministers, prime ministers, our prime minister visited India a couple of times. The Indian prime ministers came to Bahrain as well and visited Bahrain. we have a wonderful picture of the relationship through the existence of thousands and thousands of Indians among our communities, working with us side by side and positively contributing to the growth and development of our country. I don't think there is any brighter or better picture to reflect the relationship between two countries than that of Bahrain and India. It goes deep in the time immemorial, you know, there are architectural evidence to prove or historical evidence to clearly prove that the relationship between the two nations or the two countries or the two areas goes back thousands and thousands of years, deep in history, from the time of the civilization of Delmon in Bahrain and the Indus Valley civilization, the civilization of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, which goes back to even beyond 3,000 years before Christ. This is the base of the relationship that continued and continued throughout the ages, strengthened by the development of history and the development of events in the region until we come to the near history when we found that we have something in common with India, which is the British occupation of both the countries, where at that time Bahrain was ruled through Delhi, through the Governor General of the British Empire in Delhi, the Viceroy there. Our political agent here, or the British political agent in Bahrain, was reporting to the Viceroy in Delhi. And accordingly, Bahrain became the center point of the British presence in the region, directly linked with India. We have been using the Indian currency as one of the many examples to demonstrate the extent of the interrelationship or interaction between the two places. We have the Indian rupees until or even after the independence of Bahrain, when it was replaced with the Bahraini dinars, I believe, in 1965. I would like to see that the relationship between Bahrain and India in particular, and India and the GCC country, to grow to a strategic relationship, deep and strong strategic relationship. So far, we have been doing extremely well, as I said, in the areas of trade and of business and of cultural interaction and of social engagement and of education, etc. Now, all of this creates a very solid base to take the relationship further to what can be described as strategic relationship in the area of security, of defense, of in the industrial joint venture, in big project and big industries, in the industry of defense system, etc. India has developed and is seen to be and is proved to be a very strong powerhouse of military and security power. And I think as we are talking about the threats that confront us in this region, we can see that India today stands as a solid and as a reliable partner and allies for our future security and defense. Yes, I've been writing about India since I was in India from 1970 onwards. Okay, and And as I said before, I was always thinking that I would like to see whatever way is possible to pay back a little of what I have got from India. And I thought, in addition to the articles I regularly write, I would like to do that. I would like to write a book about India, but I wanted through that book to bring to the region here the principles and the ideals and the values that I have seen in India. As I said before, the values of coexistence, of peace, of tolerance, of non-violence, which was mainly promoted by Mahatma Gandhi. So I found that to bring that message in, I have to bring the story of Mahatma Gandhi and how he managed to do, with peaceful means, without resorting to violence, he was able to achieve the independence of his country. He was able to snatch the jewel of the British Empire from the British crown at the time when the British Empire was one of the most powerful nation on earth, but he managed to do that without resorting to violence and only through peaceful means. This message in the book is directed to the people of this region, that we have enough of violence, we have enough of shades, of bloodshed, we have enough of wars, and I think if we have any differences between us, we can always resort it through peaceful means and through peaceful manners and without resorting to violence at any case. Terrorism is another evil that has spread in our region, and I think Mahatma Gandhi has a story to tell those who resort to terrorism that terrorism is a poison, and terrorism always reverts back to you if you try to develop it. We have the situation, very, very close by situation in Afghanistan. When the terrorists were active there, they then transformed to what is called later Al-Qaeda, and they came to us here. All the terrorists came to us, to our region, from Al-Qaeda to ISIS to etc. Many, many names indeed. And this evil must be confronted, not confronted by weapons and by war. It is the ideas that is dangerous. You know, in Afghanistan, as we know, we thought Taliban was finished and complete. Yes, maybe the armies of the Taliban was destroyed, probably. The military power of them was destroyed, but the idea remained, and then the idea came back again as we see it today. Yes, I wish for the relationship between our two countries and our two people to further continue to grow deeper and deeper and wider. We have a lot of things in common between us. We have a lot of aims and objectives that we achieve together. We are proud, as I said before, to see hundreds of thousands of Indians living with us here. They are the ambassadors of India. They are the ambassador of goodwill. And I know 10 or 20 times as much are there in India now who went back to India after working in Bahrain and in this area. And if you talk about this area, I would say millions of them, that they are now back in their country in India, and they carried with them good memories and good experiences. We need really to utilize such feeling between the two people to develop it and to use it to build up even stronger and solid relationship between our two countries.